Okay, so here we are now the next morning, and I got the straw spreader last night, and it looks really nice. It's the same one we used a couple years ago, and it worked pretty well for us, so I'm kind of excited to use it again. Hopefully it goes just as well. But so now I'm gonna get this unloaded. We're gonna bring up the wagon, get this on the wagon that it's gonna sit on so that we can run over the strawberry field and it'll shoot right off the back. And then after we got all that loaded, we're gonna go get some straw so that we have something to spread. When the guys at the dealer loaded this on my truck, they just used a forklift and went right up under there with their forks and lifted it up. But my luck, I'll go up under there and catch one of those cords. I'm actually really surprised that they didn't. So to be safe, I'm gonna try and get a pallet and just pull it up on the pallet. That way I can just go right underneath the pallet with my forks and lift it up instead of trying to mess with all those wires and I'll break something or cut something or something will short out. So I'm gonna try and eliminate all those problems. She's off. Okay, so now that we got the straw spreader unloaded, we came down here to where we park most of our equipment. And last time when we were done unloading the straw in the garlic field, we were trying to pull it up here, but as you can see, it was really icy. So we just kind of left it here. It wasn't a big deal. Blocked up the tires real good. But now we need it again to put more straw on it for now the strawberry field. So what we did was, since it's still icy, everything on the farm is pretty much melted, like out there in the fields, but this is always shaded because of the trees here. So we threw some ashes down, hoping that we can get some good traction with the tractor and pull this thing right up out. And then once we get up on top of the hill there, everything will be okay. It's just tractors inside hills, and then on top of that being icy, it's very dangerous. So you want to be as careful as you can so there's no accidents. I think we got to be going on like 3 years ago now that I pulled this wagon out of the weeds, sandblasted it, painted it real good, got new tires on it, or I guess I should say new used tires. And I thought in that same year, I'm gonna rebuild this so we have a nice wagon, kind of like this one, which this one's kind of getting pretty shoddy now. But yeah, here we are, still sitting here looking pretty. Not doing anything with it. Hopefully this will be the year I can rebuild this one. This will just be for like bins, for like putting on for, I don't know, picking sweet corn, cantaloupe, watermelon, pumpkins, whatever. And then this one down here that I redid, we actually put an extended pipe in the middle here. Not usually supposed to be near this long. This is gonna be our irrigation pipe wagon. And I just haven't gotten around to doing this one either. Again, fixed up the tires, repainted it, sandblasted it, and it looks really nice. But what we need to do now is, we haven't figured out exactly how we want to do it, but we want to weld some kind of U-shape on this wagon so that we can set the pipes in there, and then obviously there's going to be no fear of them rolling out. So kind of like coming up here and coming up here, and then we'll have some braces coming horizontal here, or perpendicular, I guess this pipe I should say. That way they're braced up in the middle, and then another U down here on this end. So hopefully I get to that this year. You never know. I always get caught up in different things, but I'm gonna try my hardest. We got the wagon out of that ice and it's up here now by the barn, right there. Daisy's standing on it right now. And now what we gotta do is, we're trying to get everything done in the morning here, like in the fields and in the grass, while it's still frozen, because if you start backing equipment, pulling any kind of equipment in the grass or mud, you'll make huge impressions, ruts, whatever you want to call it. So we're kind of just on a race now, and it's already almost 9 o'clock to get everything done. Now I gotta go get my dump trailer loaded up. Well, I gotta get it hooked up to the back of my truck so that later on today we can go and pick up that straw. Dad's going downtown for buns for the market to make hoagies. And then as soon as I get this trailer hooked up, I'm gonna go in the greenhouse and make sure everything's okay in there, like the temperatures and all that kind of stuff. And I'll also show you guys everything that's coming up, like I usually do, because everything's really starting to grow now. There she is. Ooh, that's close. We'll see if it goes on. A little too far back. Get it, Ace! Get her! Get it, Ace! Okay, so now that trailer's hooked up, I can down here to the greenhouse, make sure everything's going okay. And if you haven't been keeping up with my videos, you'll know we got this shipment in of petunias and coleus. Actually, they're gonna need some water like right now. Out here is where we don't really have much besides, like I said, those plants and 2 flats of gazinias, and that's because they just don't quite like it as hot as all the other flowers and herbs do. So they're out here where it's like, I don't know, between 60 and 70, and they just finally started coming up after I think a little over a week. They're coming up really, really nice. Just starting to poke their heads out. And then we also brought the hollyhocks out. Now it looks like this was a bad stand, but really we only planted these first 3 rows, and it wasn't even a full first 3 rows. Like, these weren't even planted, so they did okay for being old seed. And then in here, I'll show you now that the seed room is full. Here is the first thing that started coming up, which is our geraniums. They're coming up really nice. And then I mentioned to you about this section here of old seed that wasn't doing too good, but we're starting to notice some more are starting to pop their heads out, so that's really nice. Hopefully they keep coming more and more. Down here is the sunflowers you see me plant by hand. And I think this was about 3 days ago now, and I'm just finally starting to see right there, I don't know if you can see that, the red neck of one, not the head, but just like the neck of it. You can see the dirt is starting to get pushed up there, so hopefully later on today they're gonna really start coming out, definitely by tomorrow morning. Over here, this is kind of like the latest stuff we planted, so this ain't really coming up yet at all. But down here, a lot is coming up. Here is the portulacas. You can see all the green heads coming up. I'll try and get closer here. Snapdragon here. It's hard to see sometimes with that vermiculite on there. We've got Gerber daisies. Over here is lavender. Dusty Millers. Echinacea. Gaillardia. Platycodon or balloon flowers, which they're not coming out yet. They're taking quite a while. And then down here is Gaillardia and Dianthus. These are coming up really nice. Won't be long, the stuff will come out of the seed room. We'll be able to come out of the seed room. And then over here, there's more Dianthus, Coleus. So that's obviously not everything, but that's just a couple varieties I'm starting to notice that are really coming up. Here's some pansies over there that are coming up. So it's really exciting to know that, you know, we planted all this stuff from seed, took good care of it now for like the past week, and now it's starting to pay off. We're starting to get some nice good germination going on, so that's always good. It's really upsetting when we have a book that says about how many days it should take for it to come up, and then once it gets to that time frame and, you know, nothing's coming up, you're getting more nervous and nervous each day. And then sometimes it's a sigh of relief. It's like, finally, you know, here they come. And sometimes they just don't come up. If you cover them too heavy, you don't cover them enough, you don't put the seed down deep enough, everything plays a role. So it's a big deal to make sure you're doing everything exactly right and pay attention. All right, so we just got back with a load of straw on the dump trailer. And as you can see, it's full. We think we could have went another layer, but we're just gonna go back for a second load because we're gonna need to get it anyway. There's 78 bales on there. So now we're gonna unload them onto this wagon and then go back and get one more load. And then we should be ready. We're not gonna be able to straw for another day or two because it's gonna be too windy and too muddy. But I think Saturday night is supposed to be like 10 degrees. So then the next morning after that, which is gonna be Sunday, we think we can get a lot done, and it's not supposed to be windy, so it should be ideal conditions. But you might be wondering, why don't we just take this wagon here over there? And that's just because it's quite a ways. We have to go over top of a mountain, down a mountain, and you have to go really slow with the wagon. They really want to shimmy and shake, and it's just not as safe. So we're choosing to go with the dump trailer for now.
We're not going to get fussy. You grab that.
All right, so it's really windy. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. We got this load of straw onto the wagon, so this is ready now for the field. We went, got another load. That's in our garage because it's supposed to rain, I think tonight or tomorrow. So we wanna make sure nothing gets wet. That's gonna go in our shed. And then hopefully, today is Friday, hopefully Sunday, it should be frozen and we can get in the field and start spreading that. The only other thing we have to do yet, which I'm gonna do now, is get the steps off of here, get them in the barn, and then we're gonna set the straw mulcher right here. That way we can take the straw bales right off of there, feed them right into the mulcher, and then spit it right out onto the field. So that's what we did the other year. It worked great. So now hopefully it's gonna work great again. So the steps are off. I'm gonna take them in the barn. Now we're ready to back this thing in the shed, and we'll be good for whenever we want to start spreading. So now that everything's put away, I'm gonna call it a wrap for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and always remember, it ain't much, but it's honest work.